So, welcome everyone to another episode on Thoughts on Education conducted by collegedunia.com. So, today we have our special guest, Dr. Suresh Bodhraj, Pro Chancellor of JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research, Mysore. He is also the President of Pharmacy Council of India, New Delhi. So, welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you, Sagar. It's a pleasure to be back on College Dunia. Actually, I was there some time ago on another episode. Nice to be back again with you all.
Great, sir. So, sir, as you have held a key position at Education Institute throughout your career, so what are the key factors that keep you connected with the education sector?
Yeah, I've held different positions at the university as well as at the national level on statutory bodies, focusing on education, its standards, quality, delivery, all aspects I have been seeing from both sides of the world. One is the regulatory side and another is the implementing side. So this gives me a very broad perspective to understand the real stakeholder need also, as well as compare ourselves to the national and global needs that are evolving and moving forward. So this has been my major strength in moving forward and taking decisions. And one of the things which, as a university, as a institution which is delivering education, we have always focused on quality and excellence. And whatever we try to drive through the system, it is always these two things are always in mind. How do we give the best quality and how we can be the best of best? So that's where our focus has always been there and moving forward. And as a leader, as a strategist, this has been our focus all the time.
Great, sir. Great. So, being the Pro Chancellor of the Institute, so what is your philosophy of leadership and how would you describe your leadership style, sir?
See, my leadership style, I always do a bit of a combination of both inspirational and participative. Only having participative teamwork or moving forward and not have a bigger vision will not help the university to grow. It will have good functioning. Mm-hmm. And being only inspirational, that is, you are only just talking but not delivering or being a part of a team also is a challenge. So I have a mix of these things. I try to be inspirational where I have to and participative in delivering and helping a part of the team and seeing forward. So this has been my leadership style at the university which I am there.
Great, sir. So being the Pro Chancellor of the Institute, so how do you strategize about the key program of the plan and plan the marketing and administration of your institute, sir?
See, basically we start off with the need of the society, whether this particular program is required and does it help making careers of the students. We always, whenever we think of designing a program or bringing a new program, we always think, is it going to value add to the student and shaping his career or moving forward? Without that, just for the sake of bringing new programs or adding for sake of numbers and trying to have false pretenses of its success is not the way we look at. And we are health sciences driven and health sciences focused university predominantly. So we always keep that in mind, what would be the best which can be there and do it. So that's our first level of assessment when we bring about.
Okay, great.
Then we look at our strengths and capabilities. Do we have strengths? It's a wishful thinking, okay, I want to have a program in artificial intelligence. But if I don't have faculty, if I don't have strengths and offer a program, I think it will be a failure even before it takes off.
Exactly.
So we see whether we have strengths. If not, we build our strengths over a period of time before offering it as a program to the students, which is there. Now, coming to the marketing, see what our focus always is there, we always try to work with the employers, whether these type of graduates or professionals who are going to come out, will you be looking at such graduates to be a part of your organization and help them find their careers as well as you also grow? So this is one of our very clear strategies when we are talking about it. And once we hear from the employers that, yes, this type of curriculum and graduates are well, then that becomes our approach towards marketing, whether it is going through digital platforms or organized platforms like yours, where students look for guidance and other things. So we come out with a clear mandate and clear proposal, and that builds confidence in the student. Yes, you can go to JSS and you will have a good career if you join any program there. So this is the type of approach we try to manage.
Great, sir. Great, great. So the education system in India and other foreign countries are structured very differently, as you know. So in your experience, so what are the inbound student gain from studying here in your institute, sir?
Yeah. See, again, what happens is I agree with you that the structure of education and learning and philosophy varies from country to country.
Yeah.
And sometimes students look for different needs and aspirations in their thing, and they move towards that country to achieve their goals in their life. Now, a person who is looking inbound towards India is looking for two things basically. One is the affordability of education, which he is looking at. That if I come and study in India, the cost of education will be lesser than if he goes to a Western world or a developed world to get his education. Then second, he looks at the various resources that are available for him to get the experiential training. If it is look at the health sciences, yes, we have very good hospitals, clinical material for them to gain knowledge. If you look at industry, all big industries, in any sector you name, they are there in India. So they look that there is a good opportunity for experiential training also while they are educating. And of course, the living costs and acceptability of international students into the system is much more easier. I think these are some of the things which should persuade any inbound student to come into India and get the education. So I can tell you one thing, quality-wise and the content-wise, the training-wise, India's education is no less when compared to any other country. We know that our graduates has gone out and proven them not once, twice, but several times over. So education definitely is of higher standard.
Mhm.
And of course, we try to deliver that education based on the background of the students who come from India and see how they will be able to understand it and train them in that fashion. But when we get international students coming into India, we have to adapt to understand how they have been educated and what type of support system they will require to get into the system. I think it will be a very good thing. So I think students should look at India. Definitely will get one of the best educations in India at a very, very affordable costs when compared to the thing. And moreover, you will have hands-on experience in any segment you tell, you will be able to get in. And India is a peace-loving country, and it's safe, secure, and they're always welcome to come to India and benefit from there.
Great, sir. Great. So, any insight into how your university could be more welcoming to the students of different races or economic backgrounds, sir?
Yeah, see, internationalization and attracting students has been right from the beginning. Our efforts has been on all the time. Even before we became university, when I was leading the pharmacy college at UT, we had the large number of international students coming in, particularly from African and Middle Eastern countries, to gain their education in the pharmacy sector and gone. And all of them now are occupying very, very responsible positions in the governments where they are associated in their respective country, or they are heading very big operations in their own countries where they have gone. So that is always been in our culture that we bring in international students to look at the international strategy. We have to look at one is communication being effectively made to the state. Like we are interviewing with Indian context, I speak this fast. But if I was a platform, I'll go at a different pace of communicating to them. So communication is a very, very important factor. And second point, we always emphasize in our system to them is that international students, the way they have been brought up, the way they have lived their thing, there is no question of what you call as grading, that you are a teacher, I am a student, so you have to behave in a particular way. There they move more like friends and colleagues and try to understand and help each other. So I bring that also into the culture here, that the international students are there. Why only international? Even to our own students, we have that approach, of open-minded approach to understand that.
Yes, sir.
Third is also provided for them to put together. We have built this as a culture in our system, and there is a very good important international office also which is functioning, which continuously engages with international students, right from helping them from entry into the country till they graduate and go out. We have a support system, and the students whoever have studied at JSS have always felt very happy about the support system they have here.
Great, sir. Great. So, what do you think your role and responsibilities to the student and the universities are, sir?
See, my roles and responsibility to the university and the students is number one is to see that we fulfill the stakeholder expectation. That means they are looking for quality education, and they are coming to our institution. So I think that is the prime importance for us, that we continue to deliver quality education to them and see that it is implemented. And for that, the very important thing is to set up a good team to deliver that. So we always are very, very conscious of when we bring faculty or administrators into the position, how they will all be a part of this same ideology. That is, student is our primary stakeholder. So this is always there in our mind, and we try to bring that as a strategy even from the beginning. And then we look at the faculty getting trained continuously to see that they are also abreast and are having the type of the tools they require to deliver the education which is expected of them. Mm-hmm. So we continue to work on them. So all these roles bring out a very diverse set of requirements from a position like mine. So we look at administration, look at teaching quality, look at student support, look at infrastructure, look at other amenities that maybe go, and last but not the least, the good governance that needs to be delivered with that. So all these things become an important role for me to look from top to bottom to deliver it as a pro chance.
Great, sir. So, sir, what do you think should be the university's priority over the next 10 years, sir?
See, I feel I go back to Newman's idea of a university, which was debated quite a bit during the Tandon Committee's the statements and all that. So the idea of the university is it should create an environment where ideas meet with ideas, minds meet with minds, and be independent learning phase for the students to gain knowledge and educate and move forward. There should not be any sort of inhibitory set of mind in the university system to achieve this type of objective. Now, particularly keeping in mind even the present situation of COVID-19 and the pandemic and the challenges that it has thrown up, and maybe how the education is going to transcend in the next 10 years. I don't think you cannot have a fixed plan. Oh, this is my 10-year plan, and I'm going to stick to it, whatever come may. So what we have to do in these 10 years, which I would like all the education institutions to, is to first assess what is the change that is happening around you. It may vary from region to region. It may vary from institute to institute or country to country. It may vary. So you have to importantly assess what is the situation. Though you may have a 10-year plan, it is very important to have an assessment on the ground. Then is to align with the changes that are happening. Yeah. And once you align with the changes that are happening, the outcome which you are expecting would be achievable. And then accelerate. That means don't wait for the 10-year goal to come at the end and then only you'll see the outcome. You have to accelerate, and if you can deliver it even in a 2-year or 3-year time, I think you should try to move forward and do it. Don't wait for the typical the organizational, organic growth that has to take place. Even though the plan is there, I think these things should be the key words for next 10 years: assess, align, and accelerate.
Yeah.
I think this you should know where to move forward very fast, where to slow down, and then keep moving on the side. I think this is where I would like the educational institutions to focus on. And one more point I would like to emphasize is technology definitely is going to be an integral part of education. And the more robust our technologies, I'm not talking of advanced, robustness of our technology. Sometimes it's very important to have even a simple, stable internet connection, which is very important.
Yeah.
So if we do not have that robustness, I think we are losing the focus. So I think technology is going to definitely play a very important role in the coming years, and the institutions will have to invest quite a bit on this technology part of it and move forward. I think these are the two important messages which I would like to give here.
Yes, sir. So, sir, what would you like people to know about your university that they may not know, sir? Hello. Hello.
Sorry, there was a break when you expressed. Can you repeat again that question?
Yeah. So, sir, what would you like people?
Hello, there was a break in your.
Hello. Am I audible now, sir?
Yeah, please tell me.
So, what would you like people?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah.
What would you like people to know about your institute that they may not know, sir? Hello.
Particularly speaking of our institute, I would like to say that the students should particularly know when they are going to come to JSS, they are going to definitely get the best of best. It's not that we'll give them anything which is second or third level and try to manage. You will get, when you are coming to JSS, you are looking for the best and coming. And it is our promise to deliver that to the students. I can give even as a question, like, even in this pandemic times, nowhere our education got disrupted. Students continue to get their education. Students continue to get the different type of experiential choices they wanted to make. And our whole team was very proactive and supportive to achieve that. So I think this is something which, if you are not aware, you have been only looking at infrastructure, or if you are looking only at some of the feedbacks that have come in, I think you should look at this as one of the very important thing which you can think. When you are coming to JSS, you are making sure that your career is set and you are getting the best of education to move forward. I think this is what I would like to highlight.
Yeah. So, sir, what are the some of the biggest challenges that you see both for higher education in general and for JSS especially, sir? Hello.
Yeah, tell me, Sagar.
Yeah. So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you see both for higher education as well as for JSS especially, sir?
I think the biggest challenge would be to get the students and faculty back on campuses. Presently, in the present pandemic scenario, because everybody has got used to a certain way of life now. Though they may express we want to be back on campus, but it will be very difficult for them to experience that when they have to come back. I think this is one of the things which is going to be there. And second point is when these batch of students are going to graduate, that those who are during this pandemic period, they have undergone their education, they are going to graduate. Their employers are going to look at them very closely.
Yeah.
That are they indeed learned something during this period, and do they have the competencies they require. So this would become one of the major challenge that will exist for the graduates. So I would request all the students across the country and world that there are no shortcuts for success in life. And if you would like to get your employer to believe in you, you have to have, and you have to somehow gain that missed component of your education and career, accelerate into it, and get into the knowledge that is required. I think that will be the biggest challenge they are going to face in their lifetime, because they will all start knowing as, oh, these were COVID batch students, So that means they may not be having all competencies.
Yeah.
So this mindset may be there in the employer. So it is very important for the students and graduates to prove beyond doubt that they have not lost any part of their education.
Yeah.
And it is very important for them to bring that type of confidence in the employer. Same thing comes to the institutions. If we are not going to reassure the employers, whoever that may be, maybe industries, maybe other universities, maybe governments, if we are not going to reassure the education and the quality of training has not compromised, and the students have not have come out with all the competencies that are expected of them, only then automatically the students from that particular institution would be the preferred students of the industry which is going to be there. So I think this not many institutions are focusing. Perhaps they are looking at some short-term gains. I do not want to get into that, but that short-term gains are going to very adversely affect the institution and the students. So I think that should not be the focus, is what I would like to say. And the JSS is very clear on this point, and we are continuously not only engaging our students to gain the competencies. In fact, some of them have enhanced competencies because they had times to focus on and not get distracted by other things if they were on campus. And second thing is, even the employers, we have been continuously engaging in addressing the students and assessing them also simultaneously. So they are aware, employers are aware that the students from this institution are continuing to learn in spite of the challenge. I think this is something which they will have to focus on.
Yes, sir. So that's quite an insight. And sir, one last question. So any suggestion you would like to give to the student, current youth and aspiring students, sir?
Yeah, see, what I would like to tell our current youth as well as aspiring students is the world is going to be full of opportunities of this after this pandemic. And those opportunities are going to be something entirely new. So don't go with the mindset that, oh, I have graduated with this qualification, so I am going to pursue this particular career path. You should have in the capacity and the skill sets which can help you to quickly get into another role and carry out the performance that is required. And if need be, you have to add at least one or two additional skills if you are going to look at the opportunities that has to come through you. A mere qualification in one focused area, may fetch you some sort of a job, but you will not get a career. So if you are looking at a career, so you have to look at at least a few skills available with you. Can you move from operational role to an administrative role? Can you move easily from an administrative role to a marketing role? Because the job positions are going to shift in these organizations based on the market forces that may come around. So if you don't want to lose a job in that organization, you should be multi-skilled. You should be able to learn and adapt and move to the next new role. So then only the organization will be retaining you. It is just like in cricket, if you want to survive, if you are an all-rounder, your length of stay in cricket is much higher. If you are a focused batsman or a bowler or a wicket keeper, then once you finish that part, you are out. That you cannot fit into another role in a team. So it's good to be an all-rounder with some niche qualities, and then you will be able to have a very long career for yourself. That's what I would like to communicate.
Yeah, great, sir, great. So, sir, there was quite a great insight coming from you, and so basically, I believe the student will be viewing this interview, so they'll get some insight about your thoughts on education as well as the awareness that you have put that you have told in the interview itself that for the COVID batches and everything. So it was great having you with us and getting your insight and as well as the awareness that you are putting up for the students. So thank you again, sir, for joining with us, sir.
Thank you. It was my pleasure to be with College Dunia, and congratulations for all the good work that you all are doing to guide the students to their desired future or career. I think you are all doing a great job. My best wishes to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.